So what I'm going to talk about is CRM inf, the argumentation model. That's not that you have to argue with me about it. It is about the argumentation model. And so this is an example, another example of an extension. And what I want to do is talk about how we accumulate knowledge and what do we actually accumulate. So what's the process of generating new knowledge? What do we accumulate? Show you an example from the British Museum, and then think about a unique feature of CRM inf, something that's very new to the way we work in our tradition of gathering data about things in the cultural heritage domain and other domains, and then draw a quick conclusion. So, knowledge accumulation then. What do we accumulate? Well, we observe things. We go and look at stuff and record our observations. We look at the traits in the real world and record those. So we take the features in the real object, record some traits that we think are important for our understanding of that object. And typically, we want to know what we observed, how we observed it, and when we observed it. We want some context around that observation. So that's one way we generate knowledge. Another thing that we do is we adopt knowledge that other people have generated. So we look for citations, we go and look for other publications, other work that people have done, other observations that people have made, and we say, we trust that that information is good for our use. We have faith that they've done it in a way which makes it compatible with what we want to talk about. And so we want to know from whom did we adopt this particular fact, this particular set of information. And then the third thing we do is we infer or deduce new information. And we want to know what is that inference or deduction based on. So what are the sets of things that we're using as the basis for our inference? And how did we do that inference? So what rules did we follow in order to take this set of things and make them into a new statement about the past or the present? So these three things are going to produce something, and they are beliefs. So what we're interested in is who believes something and when do they believe it? Somebody believes in something. What do they believe in? Some set of propositions which we might represent as a series of predicates or some other way of formally representing them. And what do we believe about this set of information? Do we believe that it's true? Is it false? Is it unknown? Maybe we want to add some Bayesian level of certainty to it if we want to in the future. But we really need to have at least three values: true, false, and unknown. I believe this is true. I believe this isn't true. I don't know. So those are our... So this is an example of how we might do that. So this is some work we're doing at the British Museum looking at the Sloan catalogues. And we're looking at each entry in the catalogue and deciding in which order the components on the page were assembled. So is this bit written first and then this bit, or some other combination, some other set? So this is me. I'm evaluating a particular piece of information, one reference in it. So here's this is the belief that the British Museum has, that this is the way things are laid out on the page. That's based on their observations of the page. I'm following some rules, and I've reached the conclusion that this evolution, this particular sequence of events, is the true sequence of events on the page, and other possible ones are not true. So I'm applying these rules to a set of data and going, I believe that this is the order in which these components were written. So somebody wrote this bit first, and then this bit, and then this bit, and then added in this little annotation. So then I can start to think about the evolution of that catalogue entry in other contexts. But I've documented how I decided that it was 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than 2, 3, 1, 4. So that's how I can formally present such a set of observations. Now, you may have noticed that there's one unique thing that we only do in the CRM inf. Everything else, we always think about what we know. In CRM inf, we are able to say what we believe to be false. And this is incredibly powerful because it allows us to document all of the dead ends in our research. All of those things that we didn't really want to admit to. But now we can, and we can use them. So all of those dead ends become powerful things. So I'm currently working with Leicester University, documenting a GIS of fear. So we're looking at the areas which are scariest in a landscape based on the number of glyphs warding that area on the windows in the building that overlooks the landscape. Now, we're going to make lots of mistakes, but we're going to document all of those mistakes so that people don't have to go down those dead ends again. So we will publish not only our result model, our final model, but all of the dead ends that we went through to get there. So CRM allows us to document the inference chains we make, the sets of inferences which then become the fuel for new inferences, and allows us to say when we made a mistake, gracefully, and declare them. Thank you.